We are preparing to go live right now. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Entrepreneur Summit 2022. And as we wrap up the year, we have this very wonderful summit presenting to all of you. And you are talking to me, Vicky Esther Cheng, and we are broadcasting to you live from Singapore, the US, and India. And wherever you are, and if you do see us here in Facebook through the Facebook algorithm, please share with everyone. And you are with us at the Platinum platform, and I'm so glad to thank all of us for this summit. We have today very important people here, the world's top leaders, professionals, and entrepreneurs and business mentors, and myself, Vicky Esther. And we'd like to just open up today, 2022, and we have all just emerged from the pandemic in 2020, 2021, and now we're at the end of 2022, and hopefully 2023 is going to herald a good year for us. And we are launching the book today, Gold Nuggets for Entrepreneurs, Lessons that Change Your Life. And I'd like to bring out the spirit of this book is that, no matter who you are, whether you're a professor, whether you're a Main Street, there's always something you can give. And the spirit of the book is that you're gathering the top leaders here in their own profession and their own expertise so that they could share in a snapshot to the readers and the viewers what they can pick up, so that they could probably learn a word, learn a story, learn an experience, so that they do not fall as badly as they do, or they could pick themselves up better, or they learn a new skill. So therefore, without further ado, I would like to introduce my co-chairwoman today, Miss Annette Wittenberger. She is actually podcasting from Texas, USA. Annette, would you like to tell us who you are? And would you like to make the opening for today?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Vicky. What an honor to be here amongst all of you. I am a retired Army combat vet and a newly independent music artist, which is focusing on mental health. And I talk about all the decisions I had to make, the transition, and this difficulties of living with mental health and how to help others get through it. But I want to go ahead and introduce our next speaker, Professor Ko. I would love to hear from you, and then we'll go down the line.
Thank you, Annette. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I probably have contributed to some extent the dollars and cents. Annette just mentioned something about mental health. So in my portion, I will talk about financial health. Yeah, and it's really my wish that I can give everyone a paradigm shift in that accounting and finance are not scary topics. They are indeed lifelong skills that all of us should possess. So from the angle of a consultant and also very much an educator, I like to put things in as simple as I can, all right, with regards to how to make sure our company's health and our own financial health is as good as our mental health. Yeah, and I hope you will enjoy the portion there, which relates to cash flow, all right? It's really about dollar and cents flowing such that we can always pay our dues as and when it falls due, all right? So, find out for yourself, and back to you, Annette. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I love how you talk about financial health, because that's such an important topic that we don't talk about. And it's so important for everyone to know about that. But I would love to continue on with Miss Karen Austin.
Yes, hi, I am Karen Denise Austin. I am a certified national domestic violence advocate here from the beautiful city by the sea, Savannah, Georgia. I am the CEO and founder of For the Jewel in You Global Incorporated. We serve victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. And our desire and our goal is to help them become stable so that not only that they become a survivor, but so that they can now become and say, I am an overcomer, and they can come out and help others as well. I'm excited about my chapter. The title of my chapter is Know Your Why, Having a Servant Heart to Serve. And in knowing your why, it's about becoming the change. And so I'm excited. And what's so important about this is because when you're thinking about being in a nonprofit organization, it is important for you to understand the different types of steps that is necessary for you to take. It is also important to not be afraid to ask questions and to get professional help. But more important to that, it's all about finding out why you want to serve. Who is your particular audience? And so that's really important to me. I believe that individuals that do come in and say that they want to know their why, they got to have a servant heart and understand what their purpose is. So I think that everyone will definitely enjoy the entire book that we have with the gold nuggets in there. But more importantly, the type of writer I am, I'm very passionate. I go right in it to the heart. And so I think that they will definitely enjoy this chapter. As you can see, I'm excited now about where we are and where we're going. So thank you.
I feel your passion. So thank you so much. That energy is so contagious and I just love it. I'm excited for this book as well. Let's go on to Mr. Richard Christopher Lowe.
Great. Thanks, Annette. Great. Welcome, everybody. I'm tuning in from Singapore, where it's almost midnight. I've been living here for 27 years now. And my chapter really is looking at longevity of being in business and particularly in sales, and thoughts of being an entrepreneur. Not everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur, so I'll just share a few questions, having bought and sold and owned my own businesses, really to reflect on of whether you are cut out to be an entrepreneur and get feedback from close relatives and loved ones, getting some perspective. But sales is very important to many, many businesses. It's not just something that is important to a business. You may be needed to sell something in terms of pitching an idea to a friend or a spouse. And very often, though, in sales, I think salespeople do get a bad reputation. There is a dilemma very often that a salesperson is motivated with a commission, and underlying is the person that you're dealing with really looking after their own interests or the interests of the client. And so really what I address is, how can a salesperson have longevity in sales? And really at the crux of it is somebody's character, their integrity, their honesty, as well as their ability to be able to sell. So if you're interested to go into a sales career, I hope that you'll find gold nuggets in there. I go through some basics, but important factors of a powerful sales presentation. And hopefully it will give you some insight of whether you want to be an entrepreneur and in the sales area of your business. Thank you. And back to you, Annette.
I love it. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. So we need people like you to continue that topic. And your background is so inviting. I'm going to get my passport renewed ASAP because I need to go down there. Thank you for that. Next is Jamil Thomas.
Hello, everybody. I am Jamel Thomas, hail from the great state of Michigan, the wonderful city of Detroit. But I am here visiting because I currently live in North Carolina. That's another chapter for another book. But my chapter is about not entrepreneurship, podcasting, which is entrepreneurship in its own. But my podcasting is born out of just me loving to talk and speaking to different people. And we happen to have a conversation at work every day, decide during the pandemic to turn into a podcast, and then went from there to turn into a business, made an LLC. And so I kind of talk about different equipment, the steps, how to get to where you want to be live on YouTube, all the different social medias, and how to use different equipment and how to develop yourself as a podcast or a digital influencer.
That is so awesome. I'm a podcaster as well, and I think it's so many people are afraid to even start because they don't think they have anything to talk about. And you're the guy to tell them yes you do and how to do it. So that's awesome. I can't wait to connect with you more. Next is Professor Barnwell.
I don't see them present in the room.
Sorry?
I don't think they're present.
No, it doesn't look like it. So we will continue on to the next person.
I think
Victor, would you like to go? Okay. How about you, Vince?
Yeah, thanks. My name is Vince, and I am a professional trauma-informed relationship and performance coach, and I am a retired drug dealer and criminal. And I nearly died from an overdose in 1999, and that's where I was confronted with the reality of my choices, the lies that I was living, and that led me to want to discover what got me here. Truly, and that got to expose the trauma that I had experienced witnessing my mother be abused at the age of 10. And from that place, I made very serious decisions about my own limitations and weaknesses and fear and insecurity and conclusions about myself that defined me. And then I made a new definition of myself that I needed to be tough and strong, and became that gangster criminal version of myself to escape that pain and that hardship. While digging myself out of that hole, I discovered how to heal and release a lot of that pain. And so the title of my chapter is The Invincible Entrepreneur, the inner game of self-mastery, high performance, and unstoppable success. I'm an unlikely winner of life based on my background, where I come from. I should be dead or in prison based on where I was living, how I was living, who I was living with and relating to. And what I've discovered is that the internal world is extremely important. I didn't realize what was controlling me, what had me operating the way I was. So in my book, I'm going to talk about hidden power and hidden problems, the guidelines to gaining power, which is responsibility. I had to take responsibility for how I had gotten to where I had gotten. Even though I wasn't responsible for the things that happened to me, I had to be responsible for the conclusions that I formed, the pain that I was still carrying. I talk about blisscipline. Rather than struggling through life, like really finding that inner vein of life potential within us all that's at the core of our own being, and how to really follow that and be attuned to what brings us joy and pleasure and fulfillment. For me, that's serving people. I'm just most alive when I'm connected with others and leading and guiding others to their inner world to become aware of their own thoughts, feelings, emotions, and the various limitations and structures they have that are stopping them from being successful in any area of their life. So I'm really delighted to be here amongst such amazing people, and I thank you for the opportunity to share and to serve.
Thank you so much, and God bless you for still being here. What an amazing story already. So I can't wait for you to share that with the world. So thank you so much for being here. And let's go with Mr. Frenchaire Gardner.
Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Frenchaire Gardner. Nice meeting you, Annette. Thank you again, Vicki Esther, for this opportunity. I range from Dallas, Texas, and it's kind of chilly here today. And so anyway, I am grateful to be here and I'm part of this international collaboration. I have overcome so many different traumas, from being molested to domestic violence, and also being homeless. And so in my chapter about Black business and Black economy, I really go into detail on the history of Black businesses here in America, as well as talking about some of the challenges that business owners of color face here in America. And so also I provide some resources and the calls to action far as what you can do to become a successful business owner. I give a plethora of such resources and tips in regards to just becoming an awesome business owner and a organized business owner. Tips that will apply to not only just a Black business owner, but to any person that is in business and who are even people who are also thinking about becoming business owners. So that's really the details of my chapter. Thank you.
Sounds amazing. I can't wait to read this whole book. Everyone sounds so amazing. I think that's everyone, right, Vicky?
You're on mute, Vicky. Vicky, you need to unmute.
I would like to just run through everyone's chapter. And the purpose of today's very important entrepreneurship summit, really the book, Gold Nuggets for Entrepreneurs, lessons that change your life, it's not merely for entrepreneurs. You can be entrepreneurial in every part of your life. In your projects, in your company, in your department, is in some of the causes that you champion. So I would like to thank again to run through the chapters of the speakers today. Annette's chapter, Decisions, Sacrifices, and Biting the Bullet. Now, my review of her chapter is that everyone out there watching now or the future in the replay, in the encore, you must pick up the book because of Annette's wonderful chapter. And that chapter, 10 pages, it gives a glimpse of her book, Life Between Two Walls. And Annette herself, a veteran, the top leader of the American military army. And for a woman to rise up to that level, to the kind of respect, you can imagine the kind of stories and the kind of obstacles that she has overcome. And I can't even tell anything more. Please go and buy her book. So in the chapter, she really talks about some of the sacrifices she has to make. Difficult. You have to choose between family and your job because you have a calling. And that's true difficulty if you are also an entrepreneur. So an entrepreneur faces decisions every day, temptations, threats, risk, and also the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure. Should you do this? Should you do that? Should I go into this? Should I pay this? Should I take the money? There is so many decisions we have to make. So I think Annette's chapter for myself, it gave me the power to push through in the most difficult times. So please pick up the book, Gold Nuggets for Entrepreneurs, because of Annette's wonderful chapter from her book, Wall Between Two Lives. I hope that I've given it justice, but I think you must read her book to know who she is, Annette. Annette, would you like to say something?
You're too kind.
You're just too humble.
I think listening to everybody's just little 2-minute speech here, we all have such an amazing story to tell, and God has been in our lives to get us here. So to hear your words, just I'm not used to it, because to me it was just survival mode, right? You're just living your life. It's survival mode, and I had try to gain the courage and the strength to write about it, to share it with others, also to help other people like everyone else here.
Yeah,
So,
I think And I think just how it helped me, even reading your chapters myself, because I've been reading it, eyes are going blinking. So please pick up the book, because just a glimpse, she talked about, Annette talked about the decision she had to make, taking care of her mother versus going for a mission. So the bigger mission of serving the country and humanity versus taking care of your mom. Ma'am, thank you. So I can't even go in to say more because it doesn't give it justice. Please pick up her book and the chapter. Next person, Professor Ko. Now, Professor Ko talks about the heart of business. She talks about calculating ROI, cash flow, and you can make a lot of money, but you can still be bankrupt. Very important, Professor Ko, money, 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 that saves you. So thank you, Professor Ko, for her chapter. And Karen, wonderful chapter. She wrote her heart out, and she wrote when she was in surgery. Ladies and gentlemen, you have got to pick it up. Yes, ma'am. Karen, thank you so much. You know, I know you have gone through and you're still undergoing a lot of medical condition. Thank you for the wonderful chapter. Vince, ladies and gentlemen, he wrote within the shortest time about 30 pages of compact quality work from Vince. So Vince Balido, thank you so much for your work. Ladies and gentlemen, please pick it up, and we are looking forward to Vince Balido's bestseller, and the story of his life is going to be on the New York Times. So I'm looking forward to that. Ladies and gentlemen, please pick up his chapter. And Christopher Richard, wonderful chapter, because he wrote about integrity. And I think the chapter's title speaks of it all, says it all. The longevity of business is about character and integrity. The promises you make, you got to deliver. And also he talked about sales earlier on, how to gain trust. I think that's most important as a salesperson. So thank you. And for Richard to be building his business from strength to strength. You know, he's a man of integrity. Richard, would you like to say something?
Well, thank you. I hope I can live up to that. I think I remember speaking with my pastor one time, and we all get tempted in life, and we need to wake up every single day and just basically be humble, you know, be true to our word, be aware of the temptations in life, and you know, do the best we can every day. We're not perfect, but I remember in the days, a very simple line from the CEO of Prudential here in Singapore when I was working with them, and he had a very simple mantra. It was like, do the right thing all the time.
Which is such a tall calling, right?
Yeah, it's
because you're facing temptation every day.
Challenging to live that out. Easy to say, but when, you know, in sales, we do get tempted. We are motivated by commission. We do have flaws and faults. But I think if we're aware of those, we can address those up front so that when we do come to the point of temptation, we've already got a strategy of how to deal with that and do the right thing.
Yes, and thank you so much, Richard. Jamel, my 2021 collaborator for the digital radio, he exposed me to different kinds of technology for the digital radio. And he wrote about podcast strategies. I invited him because I think in the new brave world that we're in right now, we need to be in the microcosm or in the ecosystem of the digital media. So Jamil, would you like to say a couple of words on your chapter again?
Yeah, like I said before, that I think that podcasting, and you say podcasting as it really just refers to the audio part, but then I also do video casting too. So I think both of those together is where everyone is moving to. Even short video form is kind of new trend now, and I'm moving to that a little more and getting back into bringing my radio station back up online again. And this whole journey has been it's been interesting. It's also been a learning tool because before I started, I didn't know anything about none of it. I didn't know anything about digital. I didn't know anything about audio. I didn't know anything about video. And one thing through life I learned is that, you know, if I want something, I have to go get it. And so I decided to sit down, watch videos, read books, and just learn how to do it and become a master at what I do. You know, and it's been hard because for me, I'm a perfectionist. And so I have to learn sometimes that, you know, even today is a good example. Vicky had texted me and I was like, well, I don't want to go on behind my equipment, you know, because I have to ship all my stuff back up here. And she said, use your phone. And I was like, I don't want to use my phone. And
yeah,
you
thank
have to
you.
learn.
Thank you, Jamil. I just want to come back to you, but before we go to French Share, as our final speaker for today, like to also talk about, you know, we talked about the digital ecosystem that we're in. And that's why podcasting is very important. This is the new life and this is the new world. That's why we're together. And if ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think this is a miracle, what is? We're looking at all of us coming from different parts of the world. And if you look at Google and you keep zooming and zooming where Annette is in Texas, where Frencher is in Dallas, and then where Michigan is, where Jamil is, and where Professor Ko and Richard, we all are in Singapore. We keep zooming out. It's so huge, but yet we are connected and we are able to come together to write a book and put it into the digital world and have Amazon print it out in real paper, in a tangible form. Now that's miracle. And if you don't think that's a miracle, I don't know what is. Let's go back to French Share and invited her for the topic of Black businesses and Black economy, because SMEs are struggling and probably we will be struggling more in 2023. French Share, would you like to talk about one highlight takeaway from your book before I go back to Annette to open the floor?
Yes, ma'am. So in conclusion, my chapter really is going to be like a tool book for, you know, learning and assessing information in regards to starting your business and maintaining a good business. I give a lot of different things that I've learned from my business experience, from all the workshops and classes that I've gone to. I basically just pour my heart out and to express how, you know, I want to see your business be a success. And, you know,
Yes.
You don't have to go about your business journey alone. I do emphasize that, you know, getting a mentor and finding people who are in the same industry or doing the same things that you're considering doing is an important thing, to have support and have someone to bounce ideas off of, or to, you know, get ideas from, possibly, because you don't necessarily have to create a new wheel. So I think it'll be a great opportunity to learn, you know, new tools that you can use that's going to propel your business forward. And I'm just grateful to be a part of this collaboration. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, and French Share in her chapter, she gave a lot of wealth of a lot of resources through the links. I'd like to open the floor back to Annette as the co-chair. Annette, my question for you is, you know, a review of 2022 for your life and the world that you saw, you know, 12 months have almost passed. How was it for you? And then what do you see in 2023? And how do you see the world is going to be? Annette, back to you.
Oh, well, gosh, every year is something new, but 2022 was definitely a different experience for me. As we had mentioned before, I decided to go to music school, and a lot of my friends and family was questioning on why in the world would you do that? And it all circles back to mental health. So I'm, I guess you call a serial entrepreneur, because I will try everything I can possible to continue to help others that are struggling and suffering in silence. And so that was my personal review of 2022 was an overwhelming and an amazing experience to see what I was capable of doing, because I didn't think I'd be able to do that at the age of 47. So what holds out for entrepreneurs and businesses in 2023? I see more and more people testing out the waters of being entrepreneurs because I think they're going after what sets their soul on fire. Like they want to try to make a difference, and I think we need to have all these people here show them that it can be possible. And so that's what I think. I think this book is going to make a huge impact, make change, and I hope it gets in the hands of everyone globally, internationally, everywhere, so that they can see that you can rise above and go after what you really want to do. What are my hopes for 2023? Just continue to make change. It can't stop. I won't stop. I will continue to do all the crazy things just to try to save lives. And so that's what I hope. I'm gonna continue to do that. So, but I'd love to hear from anyone else. What's your personal review? What are your hopes, and what do you see?
And then would you like to, yeah, we have Professor Ko. Professor Ko, would you like to talk about, your review of this year and what what holds out for the future?
Sure. Thank you, Vicky and Annette. I think I'm so inspired, despite the fact that I'm probably very technical in terms of the stuff that I wrote in the book. I'm getting so much info and so much education from all of you here, because in one of the chapters in my book, in the book, it goes beyond just the numbers. Yeah, the qualitative aspects, like Karen's energy, and that's mental health, and even Richard, you talk about character. In the book, all right, this whole year, I just felt that if it could be summed up in a form of a statement, people like indices. They like to see an index on, like what Vicky said, return on investment, return on equity, because sometimes words, when complemented by the number, really makes a more holistic view of what is happening in the whole of the year 2022. And I think the glean I took from Annette is sustainability. She never ceases to learn new things. I think these are all the characters we need for an entrepreneur, as she is one. How you can see it in the form of a sustainable growth in the sales of a company when quantified in the income statement. I don't want to be too technical here, because my aim is really to make all this too much of a jargon into something simpler. And if you could talk about 2023, I think my hope is that the world will be a better place, and if we are more creative, we press on sustainably, shown in the character, all right, in the character of the entrepreneur. It goes beyond just the numbers. It's really a lot of qualitative, and I must say that these days, financial numbers are only maybe 30%, and a lot of it is really the non-financial factors that make a successful entrepreneur. I shall hand it back to Annette, because I'm sure the others would like to express their view as well. Thank you so much.
I love that. I really love your guys' energy. Seriously, I'm just like so pumped. Let's see, Karen, or Miss Karen Alston, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is that I hope that for 2023, that individuals right now are getting to the process of where they're evaluating themselves. And that's the only way that we're going to make a difference in this world, is it has to begin within ourselves. There has to be a mindset, a change of our mindsets. And that's a part that's in the book. When you're talking about knowing your why and being the change, it begins with ourselves. It begins with, how do we think, and in that whole process. And a lot of times, I even start off I went back thinking about William Shakespeare in the book and talked about Hamlet, and the play was entitled "To Be or Not to Be." And so we have a choice to make whether we want to be, oh, come on, girl, I know what you want to say. Whether you want to be a part of this, the solution, or you don't want to be a part of the solution. And I think that's important for us individually to do that. And not only be a part of it and have that mindset, but to also engage in it. When individuals are beginning to come to us, we have to hold them also accountable and have them to rethink the way that they're thinking. And that's how it's going to be better. I definitely believe that. And so when we're talking about being that change, I also talked about, because I had to go through that myself. I had to do a complete evaluation, and also taking the time to rest. Oh my God. Take that time to relax and enjoy life. And I know that someone around was saying they were living their best life, but I've changed that. And I says, I'm going to live my blessed life in this time coming up, so that you're able to continue to help individuals and thinking about our why and what we want to do for 2023. We don't have to wait until then to do it. We can do it now and begin to make that change, knowing, you know, who do we want to serve? Why do we want to help other individuals? And what services, what is that we have that we can offer other people, and not thinking that the world has dealt us a bad hand, and turn it around, as others would say. When the world gives you a lemon, turn around and make it into lemonade. And so I think that that's what we have to do. And as Vicki has pointed out so much, for my past 3 months, I have totally just been bedridden. Not many people know about this. I don't even have on the oxygen and all today. But it took that time for me to realize that life is, and that we can make a difference. And so it is important for us to really know why we have been placed here, and that we can make a change and we can make a difference. But it has to begin within ourselves. And I say to others, I have to say, let this mind that is in Christ Jesus also be within you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, yes, yes. Look, mindset, knowing your why, and I just had it, and giving yourself grace. Yes. I love it. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And
when you said grace, and that it is important to understand we're going to make mistakes.
Yes.
And understand that when we make the mistakes, it's okay. Learn from our mistakes. It's our right to learn from our mistakes. You know, and I mean, I'm just excited. I'm listening to everyone else, and I'm just like, oh my God, I need to apply that to myself. And so getting to that place where every day we are learning, every day we're learning something, and we're applying it to our lives. So I'm going to stop, because that's where I get messed up. I keep talking, and I don't want to keep talking.
Karen, I've got to stop you right there, because Dr. Banwal has just tuned in from India. So let's give Dr. Ashok Kumar Banwal from India, let's give him a warm welcome for him being able to make it in his train journey. Dr. Banwal, how are you? Since we last spoke at the beginning of 2021, Dr. Banwal, we talked about vaccines, remember? How are you, Dr. Banwal? Thank you for your chapter.
Thank you so much, Vicki. Thank you for inviting me in a great platform. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Banwal, I'd like to introduce my co-chair, Miss Annette Wittenberger. You see her here. I don't know which side she's at in your screen. So Annette, if you don't mind, let me introduce Dr. Banwal. I invited him to write about crisis management because in 2020 and in 2021, I interviewed him twice in the height of the pandemic before vaccines were introduced and developed by the world leaders. And you're talking about 2020 going into 2021. A lot of doctors have sacrificed their lives, and we have Dr. Banwal. When I spoke to him, he's got doctors who sacrifice their lives. And also in 2021, in April, India really see the crisis and the height of the pandemic. And Dr. Banwal is always calm and collected, even in facing crisis. Dr. Banwal, would you like to talk 1 or 2 minutes about your chapter about the crisis that yourself and India faced?
Actually, thank you, Vicky. Actually, when we speak in respect to this COVID management, crisis management of the COVID pandemic, I would like to say that we underestimated the problem which was yet to come. And post first wave also, even whole world population also, when they thought that this is a mom and pop flu-like syndrome, and that is going to be vanished. And no one estimated that it is going a death toll in lakhs of the population in whole world. So it is so good that we have got vaccines from many countries also, despite India also produced Covaxin and Covishield in a short span of 1 year. And this is the, I think, shortest time we produced any vaccine so far. We are very much accustomed for producing vaccines, and our channel also, infrastructure also helped producing this vaccine in a short span of 1 year. Our bioscientists, they were also facilitated by our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. They were honored by Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, and this gave them a boost up to prepare this vaccine. And as of 1st August 2022, we have vaccinated 2.4 billion of population doses in our country, 2.4 billion doses. That includes first dose, second dose, and precautionary doses. And thanks God, problem appears to be ending now. And after taking a death toll of so many people, including the first line workers, doctors and medical staff also, they also lost their life, their family lost them. And one thing I like to share, that if we speak in terms of the COVID, this is a man-made calamity. We need to introspect ourselves. We need to introspect ourselves how we are giving this menace to human society. We need to introspect. People are still fighting this disease. It is learned that people are still fighting this disease in Wuhan, and where doctors also, medical staff also, they are prevented for any holiday, even if they are suffering this dreadful disease. This is the most sad part of the first line workers. Oh, thanks, Vicky. Thanks you all, and thanks for putting me as a speaker in your platform. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Banwal. Back to you, Annette.
Okay, ma'am.
There we go. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. What just amazing short stories that we were able to get from each one of you. So I can't wait to get this book and to share it with everybody. Thank you, Vicki, for having us be a part of it. It's truly an honor. I have no words. Just so grateful for you. So thank you for everything.
Yeah, and when Annette have no words, I've got lots of words. I'd like to invite Vince, Richard also to talk about your review of 2022 and then what you foresee in 2023 before we talk more about the book and wrapping up our summit. Vince?
Yeah. 2022, coming out of the pandemic, I think the pandemic had a lot of painful and challenging experiences for all of us, as well as the blessing of squeezing some of us into this digital world more intimately than we ever were before, because we got connected with people we never would have been connected with otherwise. There was really nowhere else to go, right? So, which has its pros and cons in itself. So my review of 2022, I think coming out of that and seeing like there's a new connection, new connectivity. That's a highlight, I think, of coming out. And I think people are really refreshed and like ready to be back into interacting in person with people. 2023, I think I'm going to declare what I want to see and what I'm living for. And that is a more heart-centered entrepreneur and a more heart-centered business owner. I think one of the things I learned from being a drug dealer and a criminal was the lack of integrity of selling products and services, providing services that lead to death and decay and destruction. Fortunately for me, I lived such an extreme, painful past and difficult past that I was able to notice things. And I think other people kind of live in the middle where they're providing services, they're providing products that aren't necessarily as destructive as I was providing, but they don't necessarily contribute to the life of the whole. They're still about making money. They're still about just damaging the planet necessarily from products and things that aren't really needed. So I've dedicated my life to really working with people from the inside to the outside, really starting that heart-centered connectedness and really developing an integrity with life itself. There's an integrity of keeping your word, and there's integrity of operating a certain way in business and in life and so on. But then there's an integrity of like being connected to the life principle within us and within other human beings. And that's something I think a lot of us could take another look at in 2023 to really ask ourselves, am I really a contribution to the life of individuals and communities and organizations and this planet? Or am I just out for my own gain? So I think entrepreneurs and business owners need to take a serious look at that, because the tensions between nations and countries right now are really high. And I think we need to really find out what's more important, what's more valuable. And if not, like my own personal life, get a nice slap in the face to wake us up to the reality of what really matters. And I think the world kind of shows me right now that, like, just like me, I got hit real hard with my overdose and the recognition of the pain that I brought into other people's world and in my own. I think this world is swelling with the reality check that's about to come. Like, if we don't get connected to our heart and each other in a more intimate and profound and authentic way, we're going to be suffering a hell of a lot. And I don't think it's a joke anymore. So that's my word for 2023. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vince. Would you like to go to Richard? How was your 2022 and what do you see in 2023, Richard?
I think for those of us who are in Singapore, we live in a small city state. You can drive across it in 45 minutes. And
1 hour.
During the pandemic, it was really getting cabin fever. We weren't able to travel. And so in 2022, it was such a relief to be able to start traveling, moving around, getting out of Singapore, albeit a wonderful place to live in. It is a small place, and anybody, if you were just living in purely one city and never left it after a couple of years, I'm sure you'll have all been getting sort of itchy feet. So it was, obviously, the world has gone through a very challenging time, but it seemed to be, the worst seems to be behind us. But actually, when the Ukraine war then broke out, I kind of was a little bit angry because it seemed like the world was just coming out of one of the most challenging times, and then suddenly another negative thing hits the world and has a major impact on people's lives and so on. But Vicky, I think you've got to know me. I'm ever the optimist, and although we, as humanity, we are fallen, we are broken, we make mistakes. I'm also very much an optimist, and when I listen to many of the amazing stories of the other authors in this book, and how they've turned around their lives and can then be an inspiration. I think we all deal with the demons that live in our hearts, and very often these are the greatest challenges that we face in life. But at the same time, we have the power to choose and to make choices that can radically turn our lives around. I like to think of myself as a global citizen, and I know we've done some podcasts on this in the past. And we live in a fallen world, but we also live in an amazing world. And although our diversity sometimes drives wedges between different people, different countries, different ethnic backgrounds, I've been fortunate enough to travel around a lot of the world. I've lived in places like Hong Kong and Singapore, which are very multicultural societies. And I love living in these places. I love the ability to sit around a table and have 12 different nationalities from different backgrounds. And I embrace it. I suppose where I'm going with this is that we do have the ability to choose and make a decision so that we can make a better world. And that, I suppose, my hope for the future, not just for 2023, is that as humanity, that we can overcome the differences, whether they are language differences, cultural differences, color of our skin, because we have far more in common. And if we can, as a humanity, work together, which we need to do, especially when it comes to saving the planet, rather than getting bogged down on different borders and who's done what. Collectively, humanity needs to come together to solve some of these global issues. And so I hope that as we move forwards, the world can become more interdependent, and that it will be a better place to live.
Annette, is there anything you'd like to add? And also Professor Koh?
I'm good. Back to Annette.
I'm listening to everybody speak, and I keep thinking, gosh, it's just so powerful and so profound. And that's all I have to say.
I agree.
And Dr. Banwal, are you here? Dr. Banwal, I'd like to hear from you. What's your view of 2023 going forward with so many new emerging COVID mutation? What do you think 2023 will hold out for humanity with the COVID mutation right now?
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, because we have seen the second wave because of the double mutation that occurred in this SARS virus. And no one can predict how much mutation again it is going to be. No one can, the better side, we can say that we should be optimistic. We have awareness now among the people. We have vaccines in the hands of the people. We have vaccinated most of our society. That is a big boost, you can say, to protect our people from this COVID the dreadful disease. And we hope for the good in 2023. And this kind of event, such an unpredictable event, one is enough in a century.
One in a century. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vicky. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Banwal. And before we wrap up, I'd like to congratulate everyone as the international author. Now, this book, can everyone listen? Okay. For the Gold Nuggets for Entrepreneurs Lessons That Change Your Life has not been easy. It started off last year at this time, after the International Summit with Vince, Richard, Professor Ko, and Annette, if you do remember, and Dr. Banwal was invited also, and then Karen was there. So all of us are reuniting. And I'm glad that 2022, we wrap this all up. It's not perfection, but within the constraints that we have of the resources, I think we have achieved what we could. And I'm just wanting to throw this thought to you. I personally am not an optimist. I would like to be optimistic, but I looked at the world around me. I looked at people who is getting more gigs rather than getting jobs. I'm looking for young people who are looking at more difficulty in getting a good job, an aspirational job. I worry for them. I'm looking at people who are taxed much more, taxed and double taxed and triple taxed for businesses and individuals. I worry more. I worry for mothers who have less money in their purse to buy groceries because of inflation. With $100 of US dollars or Sing dollars, when you go to the grocery store, instead of this amount of food, you get 50% less. People are going hungry, and I'm worried for them. I'm worried for the fathers that they lose their jobs, and some of them have lost their jobs. And some of these jobs are going to be gone forever. And in 2023, economists thought leaders and even hedge funds managers, they're talking about, the world economy may be facing a nosedive. So I don't know. I hope to be an optimist, but the points, the views that I'm getting, and also my own observation around me, my neighbors and people in the street, I am starting to worry for them. And therefore, I think our efforts, Gold Nuggets for Entrepreneurs, coming timely. It does show, I like to talk about us being people of faith, that we have treasures in heaven. Myself being someone who is a God follower, I would like to think that my treasure is already there in heaven, a heaven paved with gold. So now I think I am able to give. You can give a word, you can give a lesson, you can give a skill. I think like with our book in two parts, Professor Ko, myself, and Vince and Richard, some of these skills are under the chapter of Gold Nuggets of Skills, and stories from Annette and the rest of them, like Karen, they are inspirational stories to motivate people, because you need skills, but yet you need that spirit to be able to lift yourself up and push yourself through when the numbers don't look good, when you face rejections, and when the doors are slammed in your face. So I would think that 2023, it's going to be difficult for the Main Street people. I would love to be optimistic, but things are showing that it's going to be hard for the Main Street people, for the people who are out there living in castles, building, people who live in castles in the high grounds. I would think that they may have 1% of their wealth affected, But the pandemic has shown the wealth has become wealthier during the pandemic. But during this time, the last 2 years, people have gone below the poverty line, which is true because the numbers have shown. So I am afraid for that. That keeps me up, and also that motivates me when I do my book, because in this service for the public, in our collaboration, I think we are doing something really meaningful because we are pushing our hopes out to the world. We are showing someone, hey, with some of the skills from Professor Koh, you can reevaluate your business. You can do some of these strategies that she has shown in the book, that they probably could extend their businesses, have a second lifeline, etc. And myself, in my chapter, The Business of Startups, what are the skills you should possess and reevaluate before you move on in your business? And of course, the stories of Dr. Banwal about crisis management, how you should not give up hope when you face crisis. Look at India, right? It has reinvented of itself, and in the last 1 year, 2.5 billion dosage of vaccines given to 1.4 billion people in India, the most populous country in the world. If they could have done it, I think a lot of us could push through. And also Annette's story. And these are the stories that are close to our heart, because there are no stories from CNN. There are no stories from the newspaper. There are stories from us. We are the mainstream. So with Annette's words like push through, no matter what, you will get through this to the other side. You will be okay. So that was one of the words we could give as a gold nugget. And also Richard, some of the skills for entrepreneurs, never to give up hope and how to have longevity in business. And also Vince, his own life story. And I'd like to thank Vince so much for his very intensive 30-page chapter book. Thank you, Vince. I'd like to give the floor back to Annette to wrap this up. I'd like to congratulate everyone as the international author for Gold Nuggets for Entrepreneurs, Lessons That Change Your Life. Annette, take it away as the co-chair, and also you being the woman who has shown the way that we can do it, Annette.
I don't even know what to say after everything that you just said. I just, I think it's it's really amazing how you have connected all of us together today. And again, I think just like Vince had said, we were kind of forced to use Zoom and StreamYard and all these other programs to connect digitally. So it's been very powerful to listen to everybody's just small piece of the book. And I'm really honored to be here and to be amongst all of you. I can't wait to read it and to learn from you, because it's a blessing to be able to be here today and to share this based off of what I've heard from everyone else on the experiences that they had in their life. It takes strength, it takes courage, it takes so much just to put your words on the paper and to share it with the world. I think people can learn from all of us to show that they can rise above through adversity and through all the triumph and obstacles that they have gone through in their life. I think it's very important. And I just, I thank you. I thank you for that. And I thank each and every one of you for having that courage to share your story. So I think words are powerful. You don't know who's listening or watching or reading, and we're all going to make a difference. And I just thank you all for that.
Thank you so much, Annette. Any final 30 seconds from any one of you? Yes, Vince, please. Everyone can unmute yourself. Just jump in.
Definitely acknowledging you, Vicky, for your immense passion and care. I feel it when you've reached out to me to bring me on board for the summit, for the book, the way you organize people, how much time and energy you're putting in. I know what it takes to get things done. And I've seen you behind the scenes just going. And you have such a heart. You love people. You lift people up. You have cheerleaded everyone here forward. So you deserve a significant acknowledgement that's coming from my heart. And I just thank you on behalf of all of us. And I'm delighted to be part of this book. And I just love that you care for the world in the way that you do. So thank you.
Yes, she's a great leader. Vicky is a great leader. Thank you.
Anyone would like to unmute? I'd like to thank everyone with the final thought that, as being the children of God, even Dr. Banwal is a faith follower. He's got a very strong faith. I've interviewed him. He gave a very uplifting message in crisis. We have got so much blessings. We are able to give so much. It's not just about giving money, right? Giving your word, giving that word of encouragement and your story. I mean, I can't even, I thank you enough, Richard, who actually tried to push his chapter within the time frame that I gave him, Richard. And Dr. Banwal also tried to push his chapter out. I gave him, could you please give me over the weekend?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay. So with this, I just want to congratulate everyone. And one more word is that Amazon.com is already out, the book. It's official launch today. And Amazon.in from India, I've already seen, Kindle is already out. I think the paperback will be out. Amazon.sg, paperback is out. There's no Kindle in Amazon.sg. And Amazon.com, everything is already out. Kindle, paperback, and hard copy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for these 3 books. And for the hard copy, is actually one of the cheapest in Amazon at $19.90. The cost price, ladies and gentlemen, is almost $9 US dollars to get it printed in the US. So this is a non-profit project. We hope to get the royalty, but if we could always give it out. We're not looking to make money out of it. Definitely, we are not Prince Harry, who got 15 million from his book, but definitely an effort from all of us to touch lives, hopefully 1 million lives as a legacy, because the book will live on. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give ourselves a warm, big applause for your job done.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Signing off from Singapore.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you. We'll see you
Bye.
again
Thank
right
you,
now.
thank
That's
you.
the official launch. Bye.